The echoes of a lost era. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, countless cycles had passed since humanity's mysterious disappearance. The once vibrant and influential species had vanished, leaving behind a galaxy forever changed by their absence. The devastating war that had erupted due to misunderstandings and ignorance had long since ended, but its scars remained etched in the collective memory of the galactic community. As time marched on, the true history of humanity began to fade, replaced by myths and legends that grew more distorted with each passing generation. The line between fact and fiction blurred, with ghost stories and folklore intertwining with the fragments of historical records. Even the most formidable of humanity's creations, the legendary warship known as the Red Bird, had become a subject of debate and speculation. Some claimed that the Red Bird was an unstoppable force, a ghost ship that haunted the stars long after its creators had vanished. Others insisted that it was merely a title bestowed upon a specific class of human warships, their designs lost to the ages. Despite the varying accounts, one constant remained: the Red Bird's song. Every cycle, without fail, a haunting melody would resonate across the communication systems of every ship and station in the galaxy. The crackling, disoriented voice that accompanied the song was believed to be the last message from humanity, an eerie reminder of their former presence. Over time, the annual occurrence had become a tradition, a moment for the galactic community to reflect on the mysteries of the past. As the echoes of humanity's lost era continued to reverberate through the stars, a new generation of explorers and adventurers emerged, eager to unravel the secrets left behind by the enigmatic species. Little did they know that the answers they sought would soon reveal themselves in the most unexpected of ways. The annual haunting. Captain Zora Velos stood on the bridge of the starship Odyssey, her gaze fixed on the holographic display before her. The sleek vessel, a marvel of advanced technology, glided effortlessly through the void, its destination set for the outer reaches of the galaxy. Zara, a respected leader among her people, had been tasked with a mission of great importance: to investigate a series of anomalies that had been detected in a remote sector of space. As the Odyssey ventured further from the galactic core, the crew settled into their daily routines. However, there was an underlying tension that permeated the ship, a sense of anticipation that grew with each passing cycle. The reason for this unease was the impending arrival of the Red Bird's song, the annual haunting that had become an integral part of their cultural fabric. Zara watched as her crew members reacted to the approaching event in their own unique ways. Some embraced the tradition, gathering in the ship's recreation areas to share stories and speculate about the origins of the eerie transmission. Others, more superstitious in nature, retreated to their quarters, seeking solace in their own private rituals. As the designated time drew near, Zara made her way to the communications hub, where the officer on duty, a young Tyrellian named Rin, sat hunched over his console. She placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder, sensing his apprehension. "Rin, why don't you take a break and join the others in the mess hall?" Zara suggested, her voice calm and reassuring. "I'll take over here for a while." Rin looked up at her, gratitude evident in his eyes. "Thank you, Captain. I don't think I could handle listening to it again. Not after last cycle." Zara nodded, understanding his trepidation. The previous cycle's transmission had been particularly unsettling, with distorted images and garbled messages that had left many crew members shaken. She watched as Rin exited the hub, his shoulders hunched as if carrying an invisible weight. Settling into the vacant seat, Zara focused her attention on the communications array. She had always been fascinated by the Red Bird's song, seeing it as a piece of living history, a connection to a species long gone. As the designated time approached, she found herself holding her breath, waiting for the familiar crackle of static that would signal the beginning of the transmission. An unexpected message. The seconds ticked by, each one feeling like an eternity as the crew of the Odyssey awaited the arrival of the Red Bird's song. Captain Zara Velos sat at the communications console, her eyes fixed on the array of screens and indicators before her. The usual background chatter of the bridge had fallen silent, replaced by a palpable tension that hung heavy in the air. Suddenly, the expected crackle of static burst through the speakers, filling the bridge with its familiar, unsettling noise. Zara leaned forward, her fingers hovering over the console, ready to record and analyze every detail of the transmission. However, as the seconds ticked by, something unexpected happened. The static grew in intensity, its pitch and frequency fluctuating in a way that Zara had never heard before. The sound was almost painful, causing the crew members to wince and cover their ears. Just as suddenly as it had begun, the static ceased, plunging the bridge into an eerie silence. Zara's heart raced as she scanned the readouts, searching for any clue as to what had just occurred. Her eyes widened as she noticed a series of anomalous readings on the long-range sensors. Something was approaching the Odyssey, something that defied explanation. "Captain, we have multiple contacts on the sensors." The tactical officer, a burly Keltarian named Graz, shouted from his station. "They're not using FTL or warp drives. They're just appearing out of nowhere." Zara snapped her attention to the view screen, her breath catching in her throat as she saw the impossible. A fleet of ships, each one bearing the markings of a different species, had materialized directly in front of the Odyssey. Some of the vessels were immediately recognizable, their designs etched into the annals of galactic history. Others were strange and unfamiliar, their shapes and configurations unlike anything Zara had ever seen. As the crew struggled to comprehend the sight before them, the communications console crackled to life once more. This time, however, it was not the redbird song that filled the bridge, but a voice. It was a language that none of them understood, a series of guttural sounds and clicks that seemed to defy translation. Zara's mind raced as she tried to make sense of the situation. The ships that had appeared were not just any ordinary vessels. They were the stuff of legend, the lost warships of the Great Galactic War. Ships that had been presumed destroyed or vanished without a trace, now hung in the void before them, their hulls bearing the scars of ancient battles. As the alien voice continued to speak, Zora's attention was drawn to a particular ship that seemed to dwarf all the others. It was a behemoth of a vessel, its hull as black as the void itself. A sense of dread washed over her as she realized what it was. "The Red Bird," she whispered, her voice trembling with a mixture of awe and fear. "It's real." The Red Bird's return. The bridge of the Odyssey was engulfed in a stunned silence as the crew grappled with the impossible sight before them. The fleet of lost warships, once thought to be nothing more than myths and legends, hung in the void, their presence defying all logic and reason. At the center of the formation, the Red Bird loomed, its massive form dwarfing the other vessels like a predator among prey. Captain Zara Velos, her heart pounding in her chest, knew that she had to act quickly. The appearance of these ships, and the Red Bird in particular, could only mean one thing. The galactic community was about to face a threat unlike any they had ever encountered before. "Graz, I need you to transmit a message to the Galactic Council immediately," Zara ordered, her voice steady despite the fear that gripped her. "Include all sensor data and recordings of the transmission. They need to know what we found." The Keltarian nodded, his fingers already flying across his console as he prepared the message. Zara turned her attention back to the view screen, her mind racing as she tried to formulate a plan of action. She knew that engaging the Red Bird and its accompanying fleet in combat would be a futile endeavor. The Odyssey, for all its advanced technology, was no match for the legendary warship. "Captain, what are your orders?" The navigator, a young Tyrellian named Lyra, asked, her voice trembling slightly. Zara closed her eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath to calm her nerves. When she opened them again, there was a steely determination in her gaze. "We stay put," she said, her words carefully measured. "We continue to gather as much data as possible, but we do not engage. Our priority is to ensure that the information we've collected reaches the Council." The crew exchanged uneasy glances, but they trusted their captain's judgment. They had served under Zara for many cycles, and they knew that she would never lead them astray. As they set about their tasks, monitoring the sensors and recording every scrap of data they could, a sense of unease permeated the bridge. Zara's eyes remained fixed on the red bird, her mind grappling with the implications of its return. If the stories were true, if the red bird was indeed the harbinger of humanity's final message, then what did that mean for the galactic community? What secrets did the ancient warship hold, and what would be the cost of uncovering them? As the minutes ticked by, the tension on the bridge grew, the crew's nerves fraying with each passing moment. Suddenly, the communications console crackled to life once more, the alien voice that had spoken earlier returning with renewed intensity. This time, however, the words were clear, translated by the Odyssey's advanced linguistic algorithms. "You have been chosen," the voice said, its tone devoid of emotion. "The red bird has returned, and with it, the destiny of the galaxy hangs in the balance. Prepare yourselves, for the true test of your species' worth is about to begin." Zara felt a chill run down her spine as the message ended, the weight of its words settling upon her like a physical burden. She knew that the Odyssey and its crew had just become a part of something far greater than themselves, a cosmic game that would determine the fate of not just their own species, but of all life in the galaxy. Consumed by the void. As the ominous message faded into silence, Captain Zora Velos felt a sense of dread wash over her. The Red Bird, the legendary warship that had haunted the dreams of countless generations, was no longer a myth or a ghost story. It was here, looming before them, a tangible reminder of the darkness that lurked in the depths of the cosmos. Zara's mind raced as she contemplated the implications of the Red Bird's return. The galactic community had long since moved on from the horrors of the Great War, the scars of that conflict slowly fading with each passing cycle. But now, with the appearance of this ancient vessel, those old wounds threatened to reopen, spilling forth the fears and uncertainties that had never truly been laid to rest. The crew of the Odyssey, their faces etched with a mixture of awe and terror, looked to their captain for guidance. Zara knew that she had to be strong, to project an air of calm and control even as her own heart raced with trepidation. She took a deep breath, steadying herself before addressing her crew. "We have been chosen," she said, her voice carrying a quiet authority. "The Red Bird has returned, and with it, the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance. But we will not cower in the face of this challenge. We will stand firm, and we will face whatever lies ahead with courage and determination." As Zara spoke, a strange sensation began to pervade the bridge. It was a feeling of weightlessness, as if the laws of physics themselves were beginning to unravel. The crew exchanged worried glances, their eyes darting between the viewscreen and their instruments, trying to make sense of the impossible. Suddenly, the Odyssey lurched forward, its engines straining against an unseen force. Zara gripped the armrests of her chair, her knuckles turning white as she fought to maintain her composure. On the viewscreen, the Red Bird seemed to grow larger, its inky black hull consuming the stars themselves as it drew the Odyssey towards its gaping maw. "Captain, we're being pulled in," Lyra cried out, her fingers flying across the navigation console in a desperate attempt to break free. "I can't stop it. It's like the ship has a mind of its own." Zara's heart sank as she realized the futility of their situation. The Red Bird, for all its mystery and legend, was not just a ship. It was a force of nature, an entity that defied the very laws of the universe. To fight against it would be like trying to hold back the tides or the passage of time itself. As the Odyssey drew ever closer to the Red Bird, the darkness that surrounded the ancient vessel seemed to come alive. Tendrils of inky black shadow reached out, enveloping the Odyssey in their ethereal embrace. The crew watched in horror as the stars themselves were snuffed out, replaced by an all-consuming void that swallowed light and hope alike. In those final moments, as the Odyssey was drawn into the heart of the Red Bird, Zara found herself gripped by a strange sense of calm. She knew that they were about to embark on a journey unlike any they had ever experienced, a voyage into the unknown that would test the very limits of their courage and resolve. As the darkness closed in around them, Zara closed her eyes, her mind filled with visions of the challenges that lay ahead. She knew that the true test of her species' worth was about to begin, and she prayed that they would be found worthy. And then, with a final, shuddering gasp, the Odyssey vanished into the void, consumed by the endless depths of the Redbird. The galaxy would never be the same again.